So today, which is an auspicious day in an auspicious place, we are offering a new book by Swami Sarvapriyananda. So it's an auspicious place because it is Vivekananda Retreat Ridgely, formerly known as Ridgely Manor, which was the estate of Francis H. Leggett, where it seems that Swami Vivekananda lived and roamed the property for the longest time when he was staying in the United States. It's also an auspicious day because Swami Vivekananda appears, by all counts, to have chosen July 4, American Independence Day, as the day where he intentionally dropped his body. And also the same time as he dropped his body, his brother monk Shashi Maharaj, Swami Ramakrishnananda, who was in hundreds of miles away in Chennai, heard him say, "Shashi, Shashi, I have spat out my body." So we think of this as Swami Vivekananda's almost, although he was already probably liberated, his liberation day. It's also July 4, American Independence Day, and this particular July 4 is the 250th anniversary of that American independence. And in this area, this general area where Ridgely is, played a big part in the story of the struggle for independence, in that the town of Marbletown and even the village of Stone Ridge is historically significant in the later fight after 1776 for actually achieving that. So it's auspicious in two ways: Ridgely as a holy place where Swami Vivekananda stayed, and Ridgely as a strongly associated historical marker for American independence. So this is why we've chosen this day. We are offering this book of stories. There's a quote I particularly love, which I got from a music video, so I can't attribute the exact source. And it says, "Tradition is not the worship of ashes, it's the preservation of fire." And tradition, in this case, is a tradition that is at least 2,500 years old, unbroken, that passes not only through the philosophical teachings, but equally as important, through story. The fire is passed in the story itself, and not only in the story, in those that tell the stories. So the telling, the interpretation, and all of this is in this little book of stories that have been gleaned from Swami Sarvapriyananda's lectures. There are the stories themselves, there are illustrations, there are Swami's interpretations of the stories, and as well as points to consider. So this is a wonderful little book that we are glad to be able, that Swami can offer it here at Ridgely today.
Yeah. And this has the ebook?
Yes.
Om Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suray Satchid Sukaswarupaya Swami Netapaharine Tapakaja Dharmasya Sarva Dharma Swarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishnaya Te Namaha Jananim Saradam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadmetayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmu Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. So this book of stories was not planned. When I told these stories, I had absolutely no idea that one day somebody would be writing them down in a book, which accounts for its rather eclectic, unplanned, kind of mishmash collection. Because some of them are stories we regularly tell in our Ramakrishna Vivekananda tradition, stories which are dear to Swami Vivekananda. Some are stories I've heard from monks, not necessarily of our order, in my wanderings in the mountains, in Himalayas, the monks I've met. And I found them particularly striking because, and they are part of the oral tradition of Vedanta monks. And some of those stories are something that I heard myself directly. It happened before me, and some kind of incident, and the anecdote is based upon that, which I constructed myself. So there are multiple sources, really. I found that stories are a very effective way of teaching Vedanta. I rely on logic, that is reason. Then I rely on the Upanishadic sources from the Upanishads, from the Gita, from other Vedantic texts. And I rely on these stories to be a vehicle for Vedantic truths. It is no wonder that, it's not a surprise that Jesus taught in parables, that Sri Ramakrishna taught in parables, long after the logic is forgotten or considered unimportant, long after the quotations from the scriptures are forgotten, the stories remain in our hearts. And the stories are grasped by one and all, old and young, people from all cultures. Stories are also open to deeper and deeper interpretation and understanding. Some of those stories, for example, the 10th man story, I've told it so many times ad nauseum, but I keep finding newer subtleties in it. The more you compare it with Vedanta, there are wonderful subtleties in that story. So here we have it, a collection of interesting little tales which convey the eternal truths of the Upanishads. Pranam Mataji.